Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 80's pilot, whatever we're calling this. We're watching a bunch of 80's cartoon pilots. I'm here with Broichi Boys. Say hi, Broichi Boys.
Hi,
Hi,
Broichi Boys.
boys.
And this time it is Thundernauts. Oh!
Oh,
Heyo.
I love that.
Another Rankin Bass classic, like we said last time. Silverhawks in this or Rankin Bass joints.
Right.
So
Yes, sir.
the planet Thundera, Tigra, Chitara, Panthro, Kit and Cat,
Hell yeah.
a whole bunch.
Snarf.
Snarf. You can't. I mean,
Snarf.
not needed to be mentioned. Snarf, Lion-O, of course. Mumra, the ever living.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
And,
you know some lore, dude.
I used to have this gosh, I don't even know the first. I had a box set of ThunderCats back in middle school, high school. So
Oh,
I remember
That shit.
the Robears or some shit like that. They're like weird, robotic life forms that are like native to the planet, and they speak in a really weird tone, and they're like little robotic bears, and they're meant to be very cute and stuff. And it feels very atonal for the rest of the show, and
Yeah.
it's just a weird hodgepodge of different things. And at least with Turtles, you've got stuff like Baxter Stockman and stuff like Krang, but there's different mutants and there's different things that kind of unify it, and this just feels like a fever dream sometimes.
interesting. Well, I was
Hell
telling
yeah.
Groucho I have not seen the pilot or a whole lot of ThunderCats of this original 80s version. I've seen the 2011, the one that came after. But I don't recall ThunderCats being part of my universe when it came to toys. But do you guys remember a lot of toys of ThunderCats?
No.
Well, I do simply because my brother's older than I am by a decent amount. So he had all the shits. He had the core group, had probably a couple bad guys, had the tank, dude. The fucking the tank they roll around in. So yeah, I had the toys. That was my thing. I have a lot of the stuff in relation to a lot of these shows because my brother. And then eventually, I would see reruns on Cartoon Network and stuff. They reran a lot of these.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of maybe where I picked up on watching a few here and there of this show.
Boomerang.
Boomerang, yeah.
Yeah.
They would have those little interstitials where the guy who voiced Lion-O would be like, Cartoon Network will be right back with Boomerang.
With some Huckleberry Hound.
Cartoon Ho!
All right, guys. Well, let's jump into this pilot episode, and then we'll do a little review on it.
22 minutes of cats. ThunderCats.
There it is, guys.
Rankin Bass.
That was ThunderCats pilot episode.
Yes.
Anything
Here's
stand
the
out?
magic. Hear the roll. Animation.
Yeah.
We should say that this is the two-parter technically, right?
I
Yes.
think it is, yeah.
It is.
So we just watched the first part of the two-parter. So we
Right.
haven't met Mum Ra yet or anything.
Mamra!
Mum
Mamra, the ever chillin'.
Robert Shaw, the Mum Sada.
So is that something that definitely happens in the second part?
Mum Ra?
What? You mean Mumra? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you kind of surmise maybe what happens then? They obviously we're on the blue planet, the third planet from the sun. So
the like mutants get summoned by him or something? Like he like awakens or some shit and he's like, the sword of omens, bring it to me. And then has a little face off with Lionel, gets all big and scary, and then Lionel's like, wait, I can do things. And then the cycle
Then he
begins.
does. Yep. Then they get a cool little cat-shaped house.
Yeah.
A cool tank. Cat-shaped tank.
Feel the magic, hear the roar.
You got the soundboard.
ThunderCats are loose.
Pretty tight.
Yeah,
Look at that hair.
the thing
Yeah,
I remember
Mumra.
is this this intro and
Yeah.
the freaking
It's a
awesome
banger.
sword.
Yeah.
The banger of a sword, too.
Banger of a sword.
It's an interesting, prop. Like it's a really iconic sword. It's like one of those objects or like relics kind of that get put through the pop culture zeitgeist. That's like, oh yeah, if I had a wish to have like somebody's weapon from a cartoon,
We have a Sword of Omens.
Sword of Omens would be like up there, dude. Like that's a really cool
Yeah.
one.
It could give me sight beyond sight. It could make a cool cat symbol in the air.
Yeah, make a cool signal.
Make a cool
So-
roar sound. Go. Rawr.
What I love too is like with a lot of these, like 80s cartoons, the intros, the animation's always better because they just have, they spent a bunch of time and shit on it.
Right.
so it always is just like millions times better than what you end up getting in an episode. So you see the potential. There's Mumra right there. Look at that big boy.
Yeah, he's big.
But it's not like the animation is such a drastic drop off. Like,
Oh, no,
clearly,
no.
yeah, the intro's better quality wise, but like there are still some moments in the episodes where like detailed and
Oh yeah.
I like one thing that I noticed about this was the design of the like mutant's ship, where it was like a locust kind of.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. There's a little fucking shield there, hip shield.
Yeah,
Mumra
see,
on it.
like Mumra's palace, his
It is
his
locust.
pyramid there is like on the blue planet already.
Yeah.
He's not with the mutant forces. They find him.
And he's like, guess what, bitches, you're mine now.
Oh, you found me? Too bad. I found you. Ha ha ha.
Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done me.
done what you did.
As goons, yeah,
That's
they were
why
like they were pretty good. I mean, they were interesting, like wolf, lizard kind of guy, and like a monkey.
Monkey Man. Yeah, he's like a jackal or like a hyena or something.
Broad
The other guy.
says, well, I know that you know. But what does Mumra say when he does his whole spiel?
Oh, shit, dude, it's been so long.
Ancient spirits.
Ancient
of-
spirits of. I'm not remembering, dude.
It's like ancient spirits of evil. Freaking, like, grant me the power. Yeah, it's. I honestly, I've forgotten it too.
Well, I wouldn't even
Second.
get that far. I mean, I'm just glad that you got to intro this one, Wilson.
spirits
You're remembering a lot.
evil. He says it like every episode, so you know.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. Say,
Grant me the super strength of all your wise and wicked wizardry.
what? No, that's not it.
It's gotta be it.
Is that
No.
is that what you say to the police?
Just say.
But
Say that to the
It's-
bartender.
it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, does it? Like a mummy bad guy versus a bunch of cats. Like, where's the theming? Like, what's the?
The ancient Egyptians revered cats.
Yes, I understand that, but that makes no sense. Why the bad guy would be a mummy and why the good guys would be cats? There's no correlation. There's nothing tying ancient Egypt into it at all. Just one happens to be a mummy, one happens to be a cat.
So yeah,
It's the ancient spirits of evil transform this decaying something to Mum-Ra, the ever living.
Yeah.
There he is.
Isn't he already ever living? Like,
No. Or is he ever dead? Because he's a mummy. I don't know, dude.
but he's not dead because he's moving around and talking.
Yeah, but then he says that and he gets ripped, dude.
Yeah, he should just say, "Ancient spirits of evil, give me the freaking whey protein to make me goddamn yoked," and then he.
Yeah.
They just give him like a Bowflex.
Yeah.
so for the lore,
He's a genuinely like spooky bad guy too.
yeah, he's
you know what I
spooky enough to freak
I
out
agree.
kids. He's like
His voice is great.
Skeletor. I mean, it's going that same route. Like it's
Yeah.
an undead being that's causing chaos.
Yep.
And there's themes of the Thundercats being all about teamwork, and he's all about ruling over everyone. And
Talking these nuts.
he's a symbol of immortality, maybe. I mean, I don't know the full lore of Mum-Ra and like what his major beef is with the Thundercats. Just like, I'm just evil because I'm
There
evil.
isn't any. He just like
He just
I
doesn't
think
like
he-
him, dude.
he doesn't like him, and he sees the Eye of Thundera that they were talking
he
about
wants
in this.
that.
Like, the mutants want to get it because they know that it's a source of power, and then Mum-Ra also recognizes that. He's like, "Oh shit, fuck y'all wanting it. I'm gonna take it."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it's very, very like loosely defined and just vaguely like, oh, it is a source of power or a thing that grants power, and everybody wants it. Everybody wants it.
Well, I like the Mum-Ra, that's already evocative of Egyptian influence. And if you go deep into the lore of ancient Egypt, being like one of the first cultures to come up with like the,
Thundercats.
in your body, like when you
You had to come up with the Thundercats.
guys,
They were
they
depicted
came
on
up with
ancient
the
hieroglyphics.
OG Thundercats. Like they worship those guys. But no, like the idea of preserving bodies after they decay and they die, right? And you're like mummifying and preserving and ancient medicines to basically practice a culture that practiced like, oh, you live beyond death somehow, like there's a life beyond this, and maybe that's what the sight beyond sight is. Lionel has
Give me
the
life
power
beyond life.
he can see
think.
through the ethereal plane through that sword. The sight beyond sight is like seeing things that are from a different realm.
I think you're putting way more thought into it than even the creators of this show put into it.
But can't we do that? I love doing that. I mean, that it just gives
Sure,
it
go
gives,
ahead.
It gives it way
I don't
more.
care to at this juncture. I'm happy with it just being Thundercats. Some mid
Some
to
kitty cat, man.
yeah, some like mid to greater level of 80's cartoon.
Well, these are surface level, like things. Like it's Mum-Ra. Like okay, that's like I said, it's already evocative of a Egyptian culture and things like that. So it just kind of goes from.
And Egyptians did be loving cats, dude.
Yeah, but this
all.
Egyptian don't love cats. This
He
Egyptian,
don't love cats.
this
don't know he
Egyptian is
Egyptian,
depicted as racist.
We don't know we don't know he Egyptian.
Well, if we're led to believe that this is Earth, where do they fucking like? He's in the desert, in a pyramid.
Triple ancient Egypt.
Where in on Earth are there like the majority or the most famous pyramids in the desert?
Right.
Do you
So-
think this is like pre-humans or like apocalyptic, like post-apocalyptic, no more humans?
I don't know. It's
Good
so it's again, it's not really like from what I remember about the show, having had that box set and like looking into some of this when I was younger, I don't think they ever really answer any of these questions, which is why I'm not interested in answering any of them myself, is because they are more interested in saying, well, we're just really gonna say, like, they just fucking said what they needed to say about planets because they were dealing with, okay, this is like an alien race going from Krypton blowing up. They've got to go somewhere, so we have to talk about where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
After they get there, there's never anything else about, like, oh, here's evidence of an ancient civilization that they drove vehicles or anything like it. Fuck that. Or there's nothing about, like, you know, the show like ending, and then it'll be like, and 1,000 years later, it's medieval times. It's just nope. They never really talk about it again or go into it. It's just they're here now. It's and you might as well treat it as like Eternia from He-Man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're more interested in doing stuff like introducing the Robears and these, like, just telling all these weird disparate stories on this planet than they are really getting into any more world building than like what they already established in the first episode. There's very little. It's a lot of the, like I said, the cycle. It's like, you know, every week the mutants or Mumra or somebody is causing problems for either the ThunderCats directly or for the, like, Robears or other, like, weird species that are the native populations of this planet. And then the ThunderCats got to come in and save the day, and then they learn a little lesson maybe, and then it's on to the next week.
That's a tight looking dude. So yeah, was there arcs, as you recall, looking back?
No.
Were there any, like, interesting arcs to the story, like a big event happened, or like a do they have any, like,
some other cats
major
grow
quests?
up eventually.
There's I
small
think
cat.
like a white tiger that shows up, or in like somebody else. So there's
Some cats.
there's like additions to the show, but again, it's not really treated as like from here from like this point these events happen and then things are different. It's just like, you know, oh, these couple of episodes we're gonna get a couple new characters and then they'll stick around, but they just join the, like, ever cycling non-changing world. It's just like, you know,
it's a constant battle. It's going to be like an ongoing conflict, no matter what.
Like
it's just you're dealing with an undead entity that's always going to persist and, like, fight you, and that's their lot in life now.
I think that what you are looking at, Tyler, like thinking about this any more than what is on the surface here, is not, like, out of place, but I do think that it is a bit wasted when there is so little beneath the surface. But that 2011 series or whatever you were talking about, like, whenever it was, I seem to remember there being things in there where it was like, you know,
it was fleshed out. It was fleshed out a little bit more. I think that's where I'm kind of getting my ranking of these is at the end of every pilot we watch is, like, the question, like, if you just watch this pilot not knowing what you already know about ThunderCats and how it's existed, like, would you want to watch it? Like, would you want to continue watching it? And for me, like, not enough was given to me to really care about, like, their pursuit or their mission. Like, are they trying to just... Lion-O just says, I want to create a kingdom. And if he does, like, if that's their mission, do they accomplish that mission by the end of the entire series? But as we're discussing, it's like, it just seems like they have these conflicts with Mum-Ra, and that's like, they just like a tug of war throughout the whole series. Nothing really is gained and nothing is lost.
Yeah, like this first 2 episodes sets the status quo, and then for the most part, the show doesn't really, like, vary from that. But I think that 2011 show, they tried to do some stuff where it was like the cats weren't going from one planet to another. It all took place on the same planet. So, like, you have cats, you have lizards, you have all these different races, and there's elements of like social hierarchies and things like that, and like maybe at one point the cats like overthrew somebody else and like there's definitely a lot more to it. This is very, and they even say in this episode right at the end, Panthro or whatever is like, those mutants will never stop until they get their hands on the Eye of Thundera. It's like literally setting up like, hey, we're gonna be at this every week.
It's just exposition, and it's like, this is not a story. It's just, hey, here's exposition until we get a fight going. Here's here's a conflict. Like, oh, the kitten cat got abducted, and we got to go save them. All right, let's go do that.
100%. I literally think that's episode like 3 or 4 is like kit and cat get in over their heads, and the rest of the ThunderCats got to go save them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just guessing that's like a rehashing. It's like just a reminder, like, hey, one of them gets abducted. Oh, both of them do. Oh, Snarf gets lost. Like, they write themselves.
You asked about like arcs, and the only thing I can really think of is like in the beginning of the show here, after these first couple episodes, there's like a little bit of a period of Lion-O coming to grips with like having the responsibilities of being the leader and growing up and like just coming into his position and his role, but it ends fairly quickly. And again, it's more of like getting the audience on a little bit of that journey of like the character going on his journey, like the hero's journey of like learning to use his magical artifacts that he's getting like we saw the like him getting counsel from the ghost of Jaga, little Obi-Wan moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's all done, and then he's just Lion-O as we know him for the rest of the show, and people don't really change. There's
do other people see Jaga, or is it just Lion-O?
I mean, from what I remember, it's mostly Lion-O, but I would be very surprised if there's not moments in the show where he like appears to other characters or something like that.
That's where I'm like, it's a missed opportunity if they don't just like say, all right, Lion-O has the sight beyond sight where he can actually communicate with the dead, which like adds more elements to like this death and decay motif that they have going on, like with Mum-Ra. Because that's where my head goes, like, sight beyond sight. Okay, what does that mean? You're seeing things beyond the realm of the living, and that's how he can talk to Jaga and like learn. And then Jaga is, learning also because now he can communicate with the living, so because he's dead. So like, they're both like, hey, we're gonna learn off each other. Like, I'll learn what I can about the dead people, and you learn from me, or I learn from you, the living. And
sometimes that's called like second sight. Being able to see the dead or other worlds,
Right. Yeah.
What are other kinds of sight? Because you've got hindsight, you've got foresight.
Yeah, second. I've heard second sight. Yeah, a few times.
But like, I just think, like, you honestly, you could, in a serious matter, like, apply that like sight beyond sight to being like, well, as a leader, he needs to have foresight to be able to like know what his decisions are gonna, like, the consequences of his decisions and ramifications, and maybe being able to see back in the history of the Thundera to see like what previous rulers have done and to learn from them, things like that. And again, communing with the dead, maybe like Black Panther does with past Black Panthers.
Yeah, and having it be called the Sword of Omens. Like, there's a lot of interesting things there that just you have to read a little bit more into, or just have a headcanon like I have to do.
I have to. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy.
Otherwise, I just probably won't care to watch it. I mean, that's like the only thing that kind of keeps me going. Like, oh, this could mean this. Like, where you can extrapolate other ideas on top of what is shown to you. That's surface level things.
That's totally fair. Like, no, you don't have to like be
that
invested.
Well, I find that kind of interesting, and that I hope that some people out there that are in like a creative field or have those writing rooms and things like that. It's like, here's subliminally how we can portray this in the show with not making it so overt and make it more kid friendly. But if you want to read into it, this is kind of like how you can look at it and things like that. Like I appreciate people that actually flesh out. Like a good example is Adventure Time. I don't know if you guys have read the full tome of like the backstory of Adventure Time, but it's freaking nuts. Like the guy went crazy with like trying to understand how this world was formed and the logistics behind it and what everything means. But you don't need to know any of that to watch the show and enjoy it. But it's just like for people who are more invested and maybe want to know some stuff, how it connects, you can look at this crazy thing.
Right.
But would you guys watch more of this show?
I would watch somebody's hand-picked choice episodes of like, here's like the one with the best panthro moments, or like the best teamwork, or here's the one with like the coolest this, or like, I don't really feel like I need to sit through and watch all these little moments, but I would see it for the, I would be interested to see what highs are in this.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
kind of where I'm at too. Is like I'd like to see a curated best of, and then like the best battles, the best like uses of the Sword of Omens, or just the fights and everything like that.
Can I watch a series of AMVs, anime music videos, that are set to Duel of the Fates of just Mumra and Lion-O like battling?
That'd be tight.
Would you watch this again, Bracho, or would you watch more of this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, similar to what you guys were saying. Like, I watched some like choice episodes. I don't need to watch the full thing, but oh yeah, I did watch more when I was younger.
You did, okay.
I don't know that any of these 80s cartoon shows are going to be something that any of us would like seriously sit down and ingest again, but I could definitely see some of them being something as like having on in the background and revisiting it in that way.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of having kids to like do these tests on too, because I have been like when we did Turtles. I mean, they have watched the original Turtles. They watched more than just the pilot. They like actually sat down and watched a few. I mean, probably a couple hours of this show, and I mean, they can still get into it. So I mean, testing them on this would be kind of interesting to just see what they think, and then
Right.
yeah, what they connect with. Because I mean, my daughter really likes kitties, and I'll be like, you want to watch this kitty show?
Oh yeah, check these
There's-
kitties out.
But there's so much to that. Like, there are strengths and weaknesses. Like, I think a big weakness of this is that it's a two-parter. It's not like we were saying about the Turtles, is like by the time we get done with that episode of Turtles, we've seen a lot of the like mainstays that you would want to see and expect to see. Like, you've seen Shredder, you've seen the Turtles like doing their thing.
And it's so simple. It's not like they're aliens from another planet crash landing and there's like all this other stuff. It's like Splinter just describes it perfectly. He's like, there was ooze and we all transformed. It's like, oh, cool. Like, we don't care really like how the ooze get there at that point. Like, I didn't care. I was just like, oh, there's just some radioactive ooze. Cool.
This feels like it spends a lot of the time on the ship before they crash land, where it's like, why are we on the ship? Where are we going? Who are we? What are we doing? There's just so much to set up and so much exposition that I'm sure it could be delivered more cleanly, but it is what it is.
Right.
Well, that's our discussion of ThunderCats. We're gonna be jumping into maybe like a He-Man or a G.I. Joe next.
Yeah.
What would you guys think about like doing like a off the beaten path, like not action figures, but more like just other toys, like I'm trying to think, not Barbie, but like other maybe girl centered, like My Little Pony.
Well, no thing. Sure, but there's also like Care Bears.
Yeah, Care Bears. But
Gummy bears.
if you could put like the boy and girl, combo next to each other, it would be something like a GI Joe My Little Pony, because they're so polar opposite. And it's like boys like to play with army guys, girls like to play with pretty ponies, right? Like those things were probably around at the same time too. They overlapped, and when you go shopping for Christmas for either or, you're like, all right, get her a My Little Pony, get him a GI Joe, whatever. I think it would just be kind of interesting, because I don't have any experience watching My Little Pony or like Rainbow Bright or like what was it? My sister watched Jim and the Holograms.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Care Bears too. Care
Denver,
Bear Stare.
Last Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Denver, the last dinosaur. He's my friend and a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's why I hope people that maybe have started watching the series can, send out some that they watched. Maybe if we never thought of it, and we can jump into it with a fresh set of eyes and be like, oh, yeah, okay, good recommendation. Or,
Fresh Saturday thoughts, dude. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's all we got for tonight. Do you guys want to say anything else about ThunderCats?
Get Snarf back out of my life.
That Rankin back ass motherfucker, get him out of here.
Good for Rankin Bass for finding a way to like get that merchandising like bite at the apple.
Oh yeah, dude. Big money, dude.